Hello, my name is Brian Westley Johnson, and welcome to another special Soulivity weekend. Hello, we have such a fantastic show for you today because it's all about how our journeys, our personal journeys, can lead to transformational growth and expansion in our own lives. We have two phenomenal exposés that we reimagined just for this specific episode to help guide you on your journey to passion, purpose, and higher quality living. It's all about living our best life today. The first expose that we want to show you is with Grace Ekall, who is from Cameroon, who through her own personal story has transformed her life from being a dancer to a clothing designer to now an actual entrepreneur who's selling her own products out of London, England. And then the second expose we want to show you is about Dionna Dorsey, a local-born multifaceted entrepreneur who is doing many things across the world of design. So I cannot wait for you to see these exposés. I think you're going to get a lot out of them. So let's go ahead and get started and enjoy.
That was very strict, bureaucrat, CEO, director. Mom was a nurse, and he didn't want mom to work. So she stayed at home. She was a stay-at-home mom that looked after the numerous children, and but it was cool. She was active. We were privileged. We had people looking after us when when she needed her, clean. We have people driving the car, taking us to school, because that was never there. But the one thing that she did herself that she never wanted anyone to touch is cooking food for us. And she was a fantastic cook. So she cooked meal from different parts of the country, and she used to kind of mix it up, and we never ever had one meal like you will have like rice and sauce. We never. It was always rice, sauce, and plantain and cassava and macabo, I don't know how you say that in English, and different things, vegetables, soups, and you choose. We grew up, she was saying to us, don't ever say I can't eat this or that. You have to eat everything. But when we're eating, eat what you love. So I didn't know how, it makes me a little bit emotional. I didn't know how privileged we were. She was amazing. Yeah. She was really resilient, and that's what I took from her. She was strong, and for example, she didn't have to do anything. She didn't have to work, but she would do it. She would, she would grow vegetables, she would grow different things. She would walk kilometers just to grow stuff. She would teach us to cook. Boys and girls, you will all cook. You have to know how to cook. And then during the weekend, she would ask us to clean the floor, to wash the dishes. We'll be, oh, mom. She's like, okay. She's like, these people are working. That's their job. You need to, learn how to do that for yourself. My dad wanted us to be like, doctors, different lawyers and things like that. And in Cameroon, because the first language is French, but there are second languages that you can learn a little bit. And he wanted us to, you're gonna learn like German, you're gonna learn Spanish. He wanted us to be like diverse and be these bureaucratic people like himself. But mom have like this way of life. She didn't force anything. Everything was smooth. And I just loved the way she dealt with stuff. That would be, come here, what did you do? You'll be punished. And mom would say, sit down. They were so different. Like, what happened? And she would let you speak. You'll be lying or you'll be telling the truth. She will listen. And then she'll kind of put in front of you what that means, the choices that you made. This is what can come out of it, so it's up to you. So I kind of took the liberty of being the boss of myself based on what mom said. And I never really listened to anyone. People think I'm stubborn, but it's simply because I don't just do things. I think about them, and I make the decision to do them. So if you just jump in and say, I don't think this is a good idea or whatever, and you don't know the background and you don't ask the question, I just ignore you because you don't know what you're talking about. See what I mean? So when I became a little bit older, I think when I was going to college, my year 7 here, we could call year 7 here, I actually choreographed my first choreograph. I was in year 7. I didn't mean to choreograph anything. It was just that I joined a dance group, and all the girls were older, year 9, year 10, year 12, and we have like this fantastic teacher who was directing all of us, and we were performing around different schools, even away from the city where I was in Douala. So they're training the girls. I'm standing at the back copying them. But I noticed that the song, they were like a repeat, a certain rhythm that was coming back. It was like a song that was going like, oh mama, and all the time that ting will come back, and then it go yo. So for me, the movement they were doing wasn't going with the song, so I would copy them, and when that ting come, I do something else. And then when the refrain yo comes, I would do something that goes with the song. The teacher said, what are you doing? I'm like, I'm following the song. He said, wow, stand in front here. Look, do it. Oh, I'm like, thank you. I was like, and then here we go. The whole class is following me. I'm just very tiny. That was my first piece of choreography. From there on, I just started going everywhere. We went, different cities in Cameroon, and it was really fun, and I was so grateful that my dad, because he was so strict, and he let me do it. He let me travel, so I loved him for that. And I was traveling, and I just thought, what? I love the dance we're doing. They were calling it modern dance, just like ballet. I thought, they can do something more, because they have like all these ideas I want you to do, but. It took a long time, because when I was 15, I was noticed on the street and asked to model. I'm not that tall. I'm 5'7". Some people say 8, but I think I'm 7 or 8 if you want. So I started modeling, and it was fun. Again, taking charge of my destiny and knowing what I'm worth. And I learned later in life that when you don't think too much about things, you don't think too much about yourself, you don't think that you know important, you know your worth, but you're not like, you're not thinking too much about how you look or whatever. It worked out because you're just you. And people love when people are just them because they can see through it. When you're putting up being something you're not, people can see it. They will laugh and you think they're laughing with you, but they're actually laughing at you.
Stay tuned for more Soulivity Weekend.
Hi there, Sheila Applegate here with some exciting news. I've joined the incredible Soulivity team as the host of the new Consciously Awesome live show, where I will be sharing insights to help you discover your full brilliance and claim the vibrant life you deserve. So, tune in every Wednesday right here on Soulivity TV to join the fun, and remember to subscribe to the channel so that you don't miss a single episode. Have an awesome week, and I will see you on Wednesday.
You can find all the Satanic products at our Go shop on Soulivity at go.soulivity.com now. Shop for beauty products, skincare, hair care. It is all there at the Go shop. Go shop Soulivity. Soulivity Magazine and Beyond Words Publishing want to remind you about the importance of continuing to follow public health guidelines to protect yourself, your loved ones, and your community. Please continue to wear a mask, wash your hands, and watch your distance. Please visit these sites for further information about how to stay safe from COVID-19 into the new year. Remember, love protects us. And now back to more from Soulivity Weekend.
When we were growing up, Mom, she was a trained nurse, but who went to a boarding school. But she actually had love for fabric, and she used to sew our clothes. I was looking at our picture. I couldn't find it. Where we all standing there, my two sisters, my brother and I, and all the things that we were wearing, Mom sold them. I cannot believe. I mean, like a suit like what you're wearing. Like, when did she learn to do that? She was just amazing. So she had la Singère à la maison, which is a sewing machine. They call it here Singer, or Singer, and she showed us how it works. It wasn't the one that you do with hand. It was actually the pedaling one. And I was just like, oh, this is so boring. She would cut she would choose like cotton fabric and cut like little square of cotton fabric and give it to all of us, and then thread needles and start something. Like she would go point de croix, point d'avant, point de chaînette, like different stitches. And she would start a line and say, okay, stand here and carry on. And we would do it a little bit, but we do it. When you finish one line, she would start a different stitch. I'm like, oh, goodness me. Do I have to do this? And my sister, my older sister, she was so good. She was just like that. And my young sister as well, very, disciplined. And I was just like, oh, this, like the same thing again and again. Boring. And but she planted the seed in me. And so I had like this love of how things are put together. Because we didn't have dolls when I was growing up. We didn't have like, the plastic doll, the metal doll. We used to take like the fantastic doll, natural doll. No chemical. It's like you actually pull I've never seen that herb here. You pull it out of the ground, and then when you pull it out of the ground, it have like les racines, the roots. And the roots, interestingly, they weren't just like 2 or 3. There will be like 100 roots, like 100, 200. They will look like hair. And then the rest, when you turn the herb this way, so the roots become the hair, and then the rest of the root is like a skirt. So what I used to do, and some other children as well, we would like separate the herb on the side and tie them. Those are the arms, and then the rest is the body. So you can either cut it in half to have the body and then the rest, or just leave. I used to just leave it like that, and you would do thing on the hair, and just maybe put like a little tiny button here to the mouth. It was lovely. So we used to do that. I was like kind of, without knowing it, being into the sewing, like fashion and cooking, earlier age, very, very early age. But I didn't want to do that. Oh, I'm not a cook. I'm not a sewer. No. I wanted to do I don't know what. But when I created then and also the dance with mom, she used to teach us like little French songs, songs that she would put together herself. Ah, que je suis donc contente du jupon qu'on m'a donné. Ah, que je suis donc contente du jupon qu'on m'a donné. Quand je cueille les goyaves, mon jupon fait une corbeille. Tic 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 tic. Like that. It was just
Wow.
and the dance will come with it as well. Qu'il est beau, mon jupon, quelle est belle ma jupette. So we had that. We have the dance, the fashion, and the cooking together. Funny enough, today that's what I do. It's crazy. By the age of 19, I'm like, I'm gonna do my dance company now. And I started doing this dance that I didn't know what I was doing, but it was just like, I don't want to do complete ballet. I don't want to do complete modern. I don't want to do traditional folk dance, and we have many lovely traditional folk. But I just thought, I'm going to mix something up. I'm going to change, I'm going to do my own thing. People call me different things. Crazy girl, white girl. What is she doing? What kind of dance is that? That is white people dance. And I carry on doing my white people / crazy girl dance. And I just thought, I want to teach people how to do my dance. And then I recruited a few youngsters around my age, a little bit younger, and said, okay, this is the technique and this is what you do. And I would do every single thing. Like, because I would say to people, can you just move, do something so that I can use it to choreograph? Like, Grace, I don't know what you're asking me. I can't. So I would just create every single piece of movement and put it together and then teach people. It was hard work. And then I was told that I was doing Afro contemporary dance. I'm like, oh, thank you. I like that. So I went to Saint Peter Francais and said, I've got a dance crew and I want to dance here. They're like, who are you? I'm Grace Ekall. And what kind of dance you do? I'm doing Afro contemporary dance. I will have you know. So you can come and have a look. And we were training on cement. There was not, it wasn't, it was hard work, and we would walk like hours to go training. And then the director of the Centre culturel français, Monsieur Petit, merci, he came and said, okay then, okay, we'll come and see. And he sat there and watched that. It's like, you know, what do you want? I said, I want a tour in, you know, the 10th province in Cameroon. So you got it. Well done. Wow. And that was it. And I toured, and I was 21 when I had my daughter, and it was a bad path. It was, you know, everything was going south. Because I wasn't happy to carry on singing. I wanted to dance, and I didn't want to dance like je ne suis pas une voiture à déposer. I didn't want to dance. I wanted to do like big stuff, you know, and it was just not working. And yeah, I mean, those things never last, do they? I don't think they last. Those romance, I don't know. They always like, you know, yeah, it's a place where everyone is needed, wanted, and people just go. And we were very young, to be fair. Before I had her, I had a health problem where I was told that I might not be able to have children. And I became so, I think I was 19 when I had her. I became so, I mean, you ask any woman, yeah, like when you're not looking for having a child or whatever, you're just like, oh, whatever. But when someone tells you you can't have a child, that is like something just create. I want it, I need it, you know, and you just go, you know. So even though the relationship wasn't going well, and I didn't want to be volatile. I never have been. So I so wanted this child. I remember even praying about it, doing all the rubbish, but praying about the child. I went to Montpellier. They had like fantastic dance festival there, and I went there as a choreographer and showed what I was doing, and it was amazing. I was invited back, and then I came with my dance crew and choreographed a whole piece for this French company that came into Cameroon and put together a group of musician, plastician, no, in French it's a plasticien, but in English, artist, you know, artists together. And I was the choreographer of all of that. And we tour in, I think 5 cities in France. So I came back and I was touring with my dance company, and then we were invited here by the Art Council of England for a contribution to the dance scene, you know, to bring something new. And I came to London, and it was quite surreal because I didn't have I have a degree now in fashion, but you know, I have different qualifications. Henri Thierry trained me as a dancer, Dorian Lachet, you know, a lot of them. So I had like a lot of training after that, but I didn't have like a specific qualification. But for me to speak about dance, and I knew a lot, I was surprised. How do I know all of this? And it just grew, and I started going to more training in dance, mostly French side, because I didn't understand. I couldn't speak a word of English when I arrived here. So I was doing all my training in French. So when I was ready, I started teaching in school, colleges, university, teaching Afro-contemporary dance. So, you know, and I taught a student that was taking GCSE dance and things like that. And then disaster struck. 2005. Grace, we're sorry, you have a very aggressive breast cancer. So everything stopped.
Stay tuned for more Soulivity Weekend.
Life is full of moments. And when sickness breaks your momentum, from the 5 a.m. stomach bug, or stress and anxiety at work, don't forget you have Teladoc. Great care options by phone, video, or app. 24/7 access to doctors. And access to therapists 7 days a week. From anywhere you are. Day or night. Whatever it is, we're always ready to help. So you can get back to enjoying life's best moments faster. Life is good. Enjoy it well.
Visit a doctor today without even leaving your home. For as little as $19.95 per month for a family plan, you get access to board-certified physicians as often as you need it. And there's $0 for medical visits anytime, anywhere. Register now by visiting soulivity.com/health perks. That's soulivity.com/health perks. We work so hard sometimes. Isn't it time for a break? Take a walk. Or enjoy nature. Or maybe a leap. Or a ride. Or even a dip. Spending time with a friend. Or some time alone. Whatever it is, always spend time growing and learning with a Soulivity Weekend. Every Saturday at 10 a.m. Eastern, right here on Soulivity TV. Have you ever asked the question, if I was to be anything, what would I be? Regardless of money, regardless of status, beyond popularity and fame. Living your passion, feeling your life has purpose. Soulivity is a space to nurture that which lives in all of us. A place where work can become play, and doing what we love creates the dreams of a lifetime. And now back to more from Soulivity Weekend.
It was a tiny stage 3, very, very tiny. I think it was 2 millimeter. Oh, I'm very bad with this thing. It was tiny. But it was so aggressive. It was going everywhere, like spreading. Girl, calm down, you know? And initially they said that you have breast cancer. We're gonna do a lumpectomy because it's tiny. I'm like, oh, thank you. And then they're like, we're sorry, we can't do a lumpectomy because it's already spread. We need to do a mastectomy. It's then that I realized that there is one thing I cannot do. I cannot stop and let my daughter, who've seen me since she's born, she's seen me going, doing all this stuff. And then now just going to sit on the sofa and wait to die? No, there's no way I'm letting, no way. The very first thing I did is like, if I can help other people, it will keep my mind busy and it will give me something to do. So I spoke to my care nurse. I said, I'm a dancer and I'm struggling to do the physio exercises that help with the mobility of the arm when you had mastectomy. As a dancer, I'm struggling. I'm sure other women are struggling too. Therefore, I want to offer free classes, dance classes. I use the physio exercises and turn them into Afro contemporary dance based music and drumming. We had fun. So the second thing I did is like I need to go back to school. So while I was having treatment, that's where the fashion comes. That I thought I'm going to have the mastectomy and then I'm going to have the chemotherapy and then within 4 or 5 months I will be okay. Oh no. I had like 5 surgeries. So it went on and on. Like it seemed like I had surgery every month, every year. So I was always in hospital or I'm recovering from, back to hospital or recovering from. And then suddenly, because it was like that, I just decided I'm going to go back to school. So I went while I was having the chemo and everything. I went back to college because I went back to college to study fashion because when I had my dance company called Ziguda, which means force and courage, I was doing costume. I was making costume because I wanted my dancer to look a certain way and I couldn't find a costume in the shop. I couldn't find, so I would just do it myself and I would make costumes. So it was just a natural progression for me to go back to doing fashion, not to go back, but to explore the fashion. Before that, I went to a women group to learn about the pattern cutting and never to understand how the garment are put together, what my mom was actually doing, what is it? And it was like, wow, it's not just sewing, it's not just putting things together, it's actually intelligent. And it actually, if you don't understand the fabric and you don't understand how garments are put together, you can call yourself a fashion designer, that's fine, but you need to know the fabric. Even if you don't sketch, you need to understand the fabric. So that's what I did, and then I went to college. Next thing I know, I have 10 distinctions from my college, and I'm offered a place at the local university west of England, and yeah. So I was doing fashion, and I was offered a place. I went for an interview, and I was talking to this tutor about fashion, and they saw my work. I was already doing the painting, the dyeing. I even made a shoe out of rocks and wire and a branch of a tree. They're like, this girl is not for fashion, she's textile. So they're like, would you mind having another interview with the textile team? I said, okay. And I waited, and then went. And then they're like, it was quite a shock to me. I was accepted, both course, fashion and textile. So which one you choose? I'm saying, what do you do here again? They tell me, what do you do? Oh, okay, I will do textile. So it linked fashion and textile together. And that's what I did. And it was quite a good thing because not a lot of people were accepted, from our college to uni. And I was actually told not to celebrate because because it was bad news. So all around, and I was like, yes, they gave me the place, and I went to uni and I studied fashion and textile for 3 years and graduated in 2012. When I started my fashion line. I feel blessed. I feel like I'm looked after. And I don't know if I'm wiser. I'm certainly older, and I'm more resilient than ever, and I'm more stubborn than ever in terms of not actually caring about what another human who have two legs like me thinks, unless it's constructive. If it's just the, comment or, I don't know, point of view, I let them have it. And I don't care. It's all good. It's all good.
Are you ready to take that first step towards true, unwavering inner happiness? Are you like thousands of people who have everything they need, not want, but need, and still can't seem to find happiness and fulfillment in their lives? If so, the Steps to Happiness show is for you. On my show, you will learn about the principles and practices that lead to true inner happiness. Because guess what? It isn't found in our external environment, but within ourselves instead. Together with my guests, we will explore the latest physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual well-being practices. And together, we'll advise you on the actionable steps you can take towards a happier, more fulfilled, authentic life. So I invite you to join me each week on Soulivity TV on the Steps to Happiness show with me, Teresa Greco.
Thank you for tuning in to Beauty and Gratitude with D'Angelo Thompson. That's me. We're going to focus on beauty from the inside out and gratitude being the cornerstone of your life. I will have amazing guests from all walks of life, from wellness experts to beauty, tech, fashion, you name it, they will be here. And we have amazing names coming up in the near future. So tune in every 2 weeks, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Soulivity TV or Soulivity Magazine. Thank each of you for watching, and focus on life, focus on gratitude. Thank you.
And now back to more from Soulivity Weekend.
I am a creative entrepreneur and brand strategist and online retail shop owner, I guess. I help clients figure out the best way to present their messaging and the best way to connect with their audiences. Here in DC for about 8.5 years now. And prior to that, I was a fashion designer in the city, in New York. I grew up in Washington, DC, but also in Pittsburgh. My parents had an amicable divorce. So spent weekdays, Monday through Friday, in Pittsburgh, and then weekends, summers, and holidays here in DC. That's just what I knew. That was just life. I didn't realize until I got much older that people didn't get on planes every weekend. So I thought that everyone got on an airplane every weekend. Honestly, I think they did the best that they could. You know, challenges along the way for sure, but they both were very resourceful and were surrounded by their village. My aunts are definitely also the women who have raised me, as well as my uncles, and my siblings are my best friends, my first friends. And I think we just had a very great community around us, helping my parents figure out how best to do it. Yeah, it's never easy. I don't know when I didn't know that being creative wasn't my passion. My first love was coloring. Absolutely always loved to color as a young girl. And I specifically remember when I fell in love with fashion, my mom, I used to have a lot of hair, and my mom she would do my hair in shifts. So I would lay on one side for an hour or 2 hours, and she would put me on the other side for an hour or 2 hours. And we would either watch like a basketball game or something, and I loved great movies. And I will never forget, I think I almost got myself burnt actually, because I popped up, I saw Audrey Hepburn cascading down these steps. And I just wanted to know who she was, what she was wearing. I just was immediately enamored with her. And that was the moment I fell in love with fashion, for sure. No, I wouldn't call myself a muse, but I have several muses myself. Audrey Hepburn is my first, always and forever. Dorothy Dandridge, for sure. My grandmothers. Whew. My grandmothers are women who just made it happen. They were dreamers and doers and change makers, very loving and nurturing. My grandmother, Mary Gray, called her Lulu, my Lulu. She just passed away a few weeks ago. She's from from Louisiana, a suburb of New Orleans, and moved up to Pittsburgh and just was very much in love with healthy living and self-care at a very early time, I guess, in the 60s and 70s. And she turned it into her entrepreneurial passion. She had a TV show in Pittsburgh and helped professional sports players better understand how to take care of their bodies and exercise. And my grandmother, my grandma Carrie, she's a force. She just turned 90 a couple of weeks ago, but she has always been the voice in my head that I hear sometimes before I even hear my own voice, or the voice that I probably hear not even knowing that it is my own voice, because it's always echoing her. She has been just such a stronghold in our family, and she owned lots of property in the 60s and 70s, 50s, 60s, and 70s in Syracuse, New York, and ran businesses. She just was also an entrepreneur. I think my family has always, it's always God first, then family, and it's, you want to be of service to your people and provide a service to your people, and figure out a way to do both of those in a way that makes you happy, and also in a way that can be beneficial to others.
Have you ever asked the question, if I was to be anything, what would I be? Regardless of money, regardless of status, beyond popularity and fame, living your passion, feeling your life has purpose. Soulivity is a space to nurture that which lives in all of us. A place where work can become play, and doing what we love creates the dreams of a lifetime.
And now back to more from Soulivity Weekend.
I think when I first got to Villanova, I didn't quite know what I wanted to do. I was kind of moving towards a career in communications. I remember arguing with my dad. He's like, you talk all day. You don't need to get a degree in talking. You know how to talk. I'm not paying all this money for you to get a degree in talking. And I also knew I wanted to do something in fashion. I thought maybe I was going to be an attorney. I, really considered, he has a law firm, so I really considered going to law school and trying to buy out his law firm to use it to purchase my first and create my first fashion house. Once he found out that plan, that all foiled. But I think when I was at Villanova, I just wanted to have a good time. I had a very I had a lot of responsibility as a kid. And when I went to school, I really just wanted to have a good time, to learn, to meet people, to build my own little community. But I also wanted to have some fun. And so when I was at Villanova, I very much did that. Lots of community service, but just also time. I think that was very much my dreaming time. I had been traveling to Italy quite a bit. And horrible directions. I got lost. This is a very true story. I got lost in the Duomo, shopping and eating, because that was my life then. And just sort of exploring museums and, trying to experience the culture and just really enjoying my time. And I got lost. And I looked up and I saw a placard in this, little bit off the Duomo that said Istituto Marangoni, fashion design. It's like, let's see what this is about. I already had a clothing line. This is my first business, Dionna Marie. And I just was interested in seeing what this was. I went upstairs, took a quick tour, spoke with several people, got my application, moved back, came back home, filled out the application, got approved, and realized I needed to come up with a lot of money to get there very quickly. I mentioned it to my family and they were like, absolutely not. This is not happening. You just graduated from Villanova. No, we're not. No. You're either going to law school, right? You're either going to go to law school or you're going to do some service for a year, but no. And I made a PowerPoint for my dad to argue my point for the reasons why I should go into fashion, explaining to him from a very financial-based perspective of how much money I could make. Like this will be your ROI. This will be your return of your investment if you invest in me now to get this done. And he saw some of the numbers. I used some Jay-Z songs in there, and it worked. Next thing I knew, I moved to, I had like a little, we had like a little going away party, helped my family with some things. We had a quick little going away party. Next thing I knew, I was on an airplane and then was in design school in Milan. So Villanova was very much my dreaming time. Milan was my meeting myself time. But I didn't realize that until my very last day of school, actually. So, you have a very tight course load and lots of work to do, lots of culture to take in, lots of people to meet. I really enjoyed my time, but I didn't have a lot of time to do anything but get the work done. And it wasn't until my final exam, I had to do my presentation. And once I presented and received my score, I actually had like a moment to breathe. And so on my way back home, I just, for the first time, actually looked up and I said, oh my God, tears down my eyes. I'm actually in Italy. I'm in Milan. I just attended fashion design school. I just graduated top of my class, tied with 2 other students. And holy cow, I actually, I did this. I think one of the things I'm still trying to do better with is to learn to take a pause and to celebrate the small victories I'm always thankful and grateful, but I also keep it moving. One of my dad's favorite sayings is, now get back to work. So I'm used to now getting back to work. But that was one of the times when I was actually like, whoa, I did this, with the grace of God, but I did this. I'm here, I graduated. And I think that was really one of the first times that I met myself in Milan. My younger sister, became a little ill. And it took me a full 24 hours to get back to her from Milan back to DC, or back to Philly, actually. I realized that my life in Europe probably wasn't going to happen in that moment, at least. And so the next best thing was to go to New York. So that's what brought me to New York. And time of my life. What didn't I do? Lots of dancing, lots of work. Just really started to create my village, my young adult village for sure. And lots of relationship building, but a lot of dancing. Thoroughly enjoyed myself. I enjoyed myself for myself and for you in my 20s in New York City. I call that my former life. I mean, I was a fashion designer working for a very big licensed licensing company in New York, and I made it through 17 rounds of layoffs. And I finally got the email while I was on a beach in the Dominican Republic saying that they needed me to come back and have a meeting, when they really just could have laid me off from email. Like, I'm on the beach, I'm on holiday. Just lay me off now, give me my severance, and I can, enjoy the rest of my time here. Get back to New York City, I have this meeting. They let us know that our specific team is going to be laid off. And I was okay with it. I didn't quite know what was next, but I was grateful I knew I wanted a change and I needed a change, but I just didn't know what that change looked like. I stayed on freelancing as a designer in New York City for one more year. And then I woke up one day and I just said, it's time to go home. And I was blessed to have a home to come home to. And so I came back to Washington, D.C. When I came to D.C., I could not get hired. Could not get a job to save my life. And then the opportunities that did come my way, I was very blessed with my career in New York City, and did a great job optimizing my time while I was there. And so I wasn't interested in coming to DC. I'm okay with, potentially like taking a step backwards, but I wasn't very comfortable standing still. And I wasn't comfortable taking several steps backwards. So no one would hire me at the rate that I wanted, so I had to hire myself. And that's sort of what started the entrepreneurial passion, V2, version 2 in DC. This is so funny. I was on Craigslist looking. One of the things that everyone kept telling me was that I had this beautiful branding portfolio, but that, at the time in Washington, D.C., we weren't yet creative here, or weren't yet as open and as accepting of creatives here. And so everyone wanted to see a non-creative based portfolio for branding. It's the time, right? And so I went on Craigslist and I happened to see an organization called Dreaming Out Loud, run by the executive director, Christopher Bradshaw, who's now still a client and best friend and like a brother to me, very much like family. And he needed some branding help, and he wasn't paying, but he was offering internships to folks. And so I said, this would be a great way for me to grow my network here in DC and to help someone out doing something that's really cool that I believe in. And then also to just sort of breathe and kind of figure things out. So Christopher and I started working. I think people really saw the work that we were doing and the way that we worked together and the differences and the changes that we were making, both in the community as well as with his organization from a branding perspective. And I think we were in the very first co-working, co-sharing space in DC called the Affinity Lab. And next thing I knew, I had clients. I kind of came home one day and I said, okay, I have a company. I need a name, I need a logo, I need an attorney, I need an accountant. I got to figure all this stuff out. And that's how Dionna Dorsey Design came to be. I always tell people to just keep going. You have to keep moving forward. So District of Clothing came from a moment when things were sort of breaking down with Dionna Dorsey Design. I had a prime client, was being paid very well. I had several other clients and I was busy. I was booked, as they say. And then things had started to slow down, as they often do. And my prime went on a spending freeze and my account started looking different. And at that time, I knew I needed to bring in some passive income, which I was already sort of thinking about and focusing on. But I knew at some point I needed to bring in additional income and to help out with the slower months. And, I considered lots of different things, but it only made sense for me to do something that I was passionate about, something that I was well-informed and educated in. And so that was fashion design. And I was really inspired by my network here in Washington, D.C. specifically, of people who, you meet them for brunch or lunch or dinner one day and they have this idea, and then the next time you see them, they're already moving on this idea. And I was constantly surrounded by my network of dreamers and doers. And I remember going to sleep and waking up in the middle of the night, and I just had this idea. Like I saw it very clearly. Dreamer, doer, dreamer, doer, dreamer, doer. And life happened, so I had to table it until October 2014. I couldn't get it out of my head, and I couldn't fall asleep one night. So I spent the night, I guess, creating, developing, and planning District of Clothing. And she launched Thanksgiving morning, like about 5 a.m. that morning. And here we are today. Blessed. I am incredibly blessed and moved anytime I think of it. You know, moved, very emotional even in this moment. I don't know if I still recognize what he has in store for me, but I recognize him. And so if I keep my focus there and you know, being obedient and doing my best to be of service to people, you know, I don't always like it, but I trust it. And I trust him, and you know, try to keep smiling. I hope that my work is an inspiration to people, to remind them that things aren't never going to be perfect, that you have to keep going. And I'm a firm believer that when your passion meets your purpose, you're unstoppable. And sometimes it takes some time to figure that out. You know, I've lived many different lives. I'm 38 years old, and I make mistakes every single day. But I'm happy to make those mistakes because I learn through them. I believe in failing fast and failing forward. And I believe in being open and vulnerable with people through that. And I hope that my vulnerability, which I'm still, you know, trying to grow and develop, can be inspiring to people, to let them know that you can, whomever you are, you have everything within you to do whatever it is that you're supposed to do. And our gifts and talents they were given to us, we're responsible for them, but they're not ours. You know, I believe that we were given specific gifts and talents because it's known that we can disseminate those to the universe and help other people and help other things. And there's a lot of work that needs to be done in this world. And it's important that we are, you know, aligned well, you know, spiritually, emotionally, physically, mentally, so that we can get that work done.
Soulivity Magazine and Beyond Words Publishing want to remind you about the importance of continuing to follow public health guidelines to protect yourself, your loved ones, and your community. Please continue to wear a mask, wash your hands, and watch your distance. Please visit these sites for further information about how to stay safe from COVID-19 into the new year. Remember, love protects us.
And now back to more from Soulivity Weekend. Well, I hope you enjoyed today's show, which was all about how our journeys can lead to expansion and growth. Of course, we're going to have even more great shows coming in the new year right here on Soulivity Weekend. So on behalf of everyone here at Soulivity and Beyond Words, we want to say thank you for joining us. Have a happy holiday and, of course, Happy New Year. Follow us on social media for giveaways, events, and a whole lot more.